Okay, this problem, they want you to solve the system of equations. So you're actually looking for the point where they intersect. Now, the first way to do this is by graphing. However, graphing is not always accurate, especially if the intersection point doesn't cross on the corner of one of those little squares on the grid, which means, whole number coordinates. If the coordinates are fractions, you can't be exactly sure what the intersection point is. So you can move on to the substitution method. However, on this one, substitution will not be easy because if I try to solve either x or y for either one of those equations, I'm going to create fractions. And it can be worked, but most people like to avoid fractions because, fractions are kind of like the toddlers of the number system. Yeah, they're not always so easy to work with. So I'm going to move on to method number 3, which is elimination by addition. That is where you add the two equations together so that one of the variables cancels out. Now, if I were to add them as is, negative 2x and 7x, that does not cancel out. That gives me a 5x. And then if I were to combine the 5y and the 2y, that gives me a plus 7y. So that's not helping me at all. You want to add them together so that somebody gets eliminated, either the x's or the y's. Pick one. It doesn't matter which. But when I look at this, I already noticed that my x's are opposite signs. One is negative, the other is positive. So I'm going to eliminate my x's. Now, what I'm going to have to do, however, is change both equations. As long as what you do to one side, you do to the other, you can do whatever you want. And what I'm going to do is multiply this by 7. That way, when I take 7 times the negative 2x, I'm going to get a negative 14x. The bottom equation, I'm going to multiply by 2. That way, when I take 2 times the 7x, I'm going to get a positive 14x. And then that will eliminate, and I won't have any x's whatsoever. 0, it's gone. But like I said before, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. You actually have to distribute that 7 to everybody. So not only will I have a negative 14x, but I'll also have a plus 35y and a negative, hang on, let me grab my handy dandy calculator here. 7 times 28 is a negative 196. And then the 2 also has to get distributed. This is going to be plus 4y equals a positive 40. Now, like I said before, those cancel out. That's just gone. I don't need it. 35y plus 35y plus 4y is 39y. And a negative 96 plus a positive 40 is a negative 156. And then, of course, the last step would be divide by 39. And I don't suppose that would divide evenly for me, would it? 156 divided by 39. Oh, wasn't that sweet? That is a negative 4. Now, that is the y coordinate. You do not have to go back and do elimination again to solve for x. Just take the y equals negative 4, just take this and take it back to either the top equation or the bottom equation to solve for x. I'm going to take it to the bottom equation because my x there is a positive 7x, and I'd rather deal with a positive 7x. So this is going to be, let me change colors. This equation was 7x plus 2y equals 20. I'm going to take the y out and plug in the negative 4. So this is going to be 7x. When you take a positive 2 times a negative 4, you get a negative 8. And then I'm just going to solve for x. I'm going to add 8 to both sides, cancels that out. 7x is equal to 28. And then divide off the 7, cancels that. And x is a 4. There's my x coordinate. It says enter the exact answer as an ordered pair. So you will need parentheses and a comma in between. The x coordinate was 4 and the y coordinate was -4. And that is the point where those two lines would intersect. Now if you want to double check, you can plug 4, -4 into both equations and make sure that this works out to be a -28 and this works out to be a +20. If you want to check it, you can do it that way. You know, since Mobius checks your answer for ya, I'm guessing you guys are going to go 4, -4. Bada bing, bada boom. How to do? Yay, green. And yep, that's what they did. They took the top equation, multiplied it by 7, the bottom equation, multiplied it by 2, and then they rewrote them here and showed you that the 14 cancels out. And they did it exactly the way I did it. So there you go.